buy or sell? Which trends and hot takes are we putting stock into, and which do we not believe in for the Philadelphia 76ers going into the 2024-2025 season? We're talking about that on today's 76ers Now. Chase Sr., Jake Chipper here with you. Appreciate all of the real ones for tuning in, and I want to put the real ones to the test. We just created a 76ers Now Instagram page. You can find us on Instagram at 76ers Now IG. We're going to put out news, rumors, short-form content, all types of content from the show and outside of the studio on 76ers Now. And you'll see a lot from me. You'll see a lot from producer Chip. Here's what I want to do. Everybody who gives us a follow, you get a shout-out on the next 76ers Now. So head to Instagram at 76ers Now IG. Help support the show. You'll get additional content, so you're a winner at the end of the day, and we'll give you a shout-out right here on the program, or for some of you, program. Buy or sell, topic number one. Tyrese Maxey as an MVP candidate. What a rise he has been on to start his NBA career, as evidenced by the numbers here. You take a look at what he's done in his first 4 campaigns, and it's crazy to think about how far Maxey has come in a short amount of time. He's drafted 21st overall by Philadelphia in the 2020 NBA draft, all thanks to Mike Muscala hitting that shot in the NBA bubble. You saw the early glimpses of him being a really special player, but look at the growth from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, and then year 3 to year 4. When this past year, most improved player, NBA All-Star, 26 points per game, 45% from the floor, and the three-point numbers continue to be very, very efficient, even though the attempts have gone up. Really got to give him credit for the overall growth and development of his game, and if you follow him on Instagram, you've seen him in the lab every single day working on his craft. And Bleacher Report tabbing Maxey as a wild card MVP candidate. Of course, it's going to be difficult for him to win that, playing alongside Joel Embiid and Paul George, but there are avenues in which that could happen, and who's to say that Tyrese Maxey can't get even better? Bleacher Report on Maxey here. The combination of both individual and team talent mixed with availability means the 23-year-old deserves a spot on this list. The 76ers should be awesome this year. A big three of Embiid, George, Maxey, combined with some real depth, should allow the Sixers to win 50-plus games, even if 2 of their top stars miss some time due to injury. That's why Maxey may be the Sixer who's most likely to win MVP. All-Star guard has crossed the 65-game threshold in 2 of his past 3 years, whereas George has only missed once in this last 5 years, played more than that, and Embiid only twice in his 10 NBA seasons. If Maxey puts up a similar stat line to last year, nearly 26 points, 6 dimes, almost 4 rebounds, and a steal per game, and is the only Sixer star to clear the 65-game mark, he should be the team's MVP favorite by default. And I have some more thoughts on this, and Chip, you can go full screen here for some Instagram content and YouTube short content. I think Tyrese Maxey is a dark horse to win NBA MVP this year. You think about the development that we've seen take place in each of his 4 years in the NBA. He has a dribble drive, creation and finishing around the rim, the step back 3, the mid-range floater, range for days. He's really added to his complete arsenal. Last year, All-Star, most improved player. And every year that he's been in the NBA, he has taken massive leaps. And a reason why Tyrese Maxey sneakily could win NBA MVP throughout Joel Embiid's career, he's missed a lot of time. Throughout Paul George's career, he's missed a lot of time. They could either get injured because history shows that they could get hurt, or the Sixers could be very conservative in managing their games played and their minutes, allowing Tyrese Maxey, who's been a very durable player, who seemingly never runs out of gas in the gas tank as far as his energy levels, to be this team's number 1 on many occasions. And because the Sixers team has such great depth, Tyrese Maxey could average damn near 30 points per game. And what if Philadelphia wins 55 to 60 games and they're the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference? That's how Tyrese Maxey could sneakily win NBA MVP in year 5. So what percent chance does Maxey have to win MVP? Scale it from 1 to 100. I think it's a low chance, but there is a chance. You're telling me there's a chance? Buy or sell number 2. 76ers will win the Eastern Conference. It is a loaded and stacked crew of teams in the East this year. A lot of talent, a lot of competition. I feel as though the NBA is as deep as it's been in a really long time because there's just so much talent everywhere. You have the Boston Celtics. When you look at the Eastern Conference odds here from ESPN, the odds-on favorites to win the East, they won the NBA championship last year, plus 125. But Philadelphia, second best odds, at plus 375. New York Knicks at plus 450. And then the Milwaukee Bucks at 7 to 1 odds. So let's bring on producer Chip. Maxey MVP, Sixers win in the East. What do you think? Give us some flamethrowers here.
Yeah, look, Maxey MVP, it's definitely a long shot, as you said, but if that particular scenario happens, where Embiid misses some time, Paul George misses some time, and Maxey can carry this team, maybe he puts up close to 30 points a game, upwards of 7, 8 assists a game, and brings this team, an injured team at that, to a 2 seed, it's not out of the question because of how we've seen him work year in and year out, the type of person he is, the type of player he is. It's not the craziest thing. I wouldn't give it a high chance, but it's certainly in the realm of possibilities for this season, more than some people I think might believe. And as far as the Eastern Conference goes, we've talked about it a few times here. I think right now the Sixers are the second best team in the East, which gives them a great chance to win the Eastern Conference. Once you get to the playoffs, anything happens. They need to stay healthy, and they need Joel Embiid to show up in a big way in the postseason. Paul George show up in a big way in the postseason. I feel confident about Maxey in the postseason, and they have the surrounding pieces. I think they had the second best chance, as those odds did say, to win the Eastern Conference. So am I buying or selling that the Sixers can win the East, and they will win the East? I'm buying it, baby. I'm all in. Come on.
Let's go. I love it. Look, I mean, this is a Sixers team that from top to bottom has a really good coach. They have a really good roster. They're starting 5, one of the best in the NBA. They're big 3, maybe the best big 3 in the entire league. And they have depth. So like Joel Embiid said, they just need to have some injury luck on their side. And if they have some luck on their side, injuries, bounces, because it's really gone against Philadelphia for quite some time, Philadelphia could finally get it done for the first time since the 1980s and winning the NBA Finals and hopefully getting past the second round for the first time since 2001. So, naturally, we segue to this. Who wins the East? Is it Boston? Is it New York? Is it Philadelphia? Is it Milwaukee? Get those predictions down in the comment section right now. Now, we've mentioned Paul George a couple of times here on today's show. You want his jersey? 8-Ball Paul, doing it for Kobe Bryant, RIP. Those jerseys available. Chatsports.com/Paul George. Very easy link. You can get the blue. You can get the white. I think the Sixers have some of the cleanest jerseys in the entire NBA. Hopefully at some point they bring back those Allen Iverson black Sixers jerseys. I think those are really clean, and there's been some hints that maybe they could come back at some point in the future. But those Sixers jerseys, they're just awesome. You can get them today. Chatsports.com/Paul George. Buy or sell. Joel Embiid will play 65 games. I'm selling this just because I think the Sixers have to be more cautious with his workload. Game management and the injury history really scares me. Here are Joel Embiid's games played by year. 31 in 2016-2017 after missing his first 2 years. 63 the year after that, then 64. 51 in 2019-2020. 51 in 2020-2021. A career-high 68 3 years ago. 66 2 years ago. And then, unfortunately for him, 39 in 2023-2024. For as much shit as Embiid gets for being so injured, you're looking at a lot of years in which he's playing 60-plus games. That's better than a lot of other marquee superstars across the NBA who don't get as much flack. I just don't see how Joel Embiid's going to play that much. I don't want him playing that much. I want him to be ready and healthy for the NBA playoffs. That's the only thing that matters. Buy or sell, Paul George will be an all-star. I mean, it'd kind of be a disaster if he wasn't. Could Philadelphia have 3 all-stars with Embiid, Maxey, and PG? Now, that would be something if they have that many representatives at the all-star game. And if Paul George plays like he did in 2023, 2024, my goodness, I just don't see how he isn't. 22.5 points per. I thought the efficiency was just extraordinary. 47% from the field, 41% from 3. I know it was in a contract year, but still a phenomenal year for him. The front court competition for PG, it's stiff. You have Giannis, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Jimmy Butler, and Pascal Siakam. Of course, the headliners there, more so to the left of the screen. But Chip, what do you think about PG being an all-star this year?
Yeah, it's really going to come down for me to, are they going to give the Sixers 3 all-stars? Because I think Embiid, as long as he's healthy, obviously guaranteed. Maxey, I think, is all but a guarantee at this point if he continues his play. So do they give Philly 3 all-stars? And what do Paul George's numbers look like? I don't think it's a lock he's an all-star because some of the names we saw on that screen, like Paolo Banchero is going to be rising and ascending. You have someone like Mikal Bridges who came over. Jimmy Butler's healthy. So we'll see. But I do think if he puts up, 22 a game, shooting efficiently, and the Sixers are a top 2-3 seed in the East, it's going to be really hard to keep him out. So I'm buying that Paul George will be an all-star, and the Sixers will have 3 all-stars representing at this year's NBA All-Star Game.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, that would be awesome to see Philadelphia that well represented because you think about it, like I don't think they're going to get anybody in the three-point contest. I don't think they're going to get anybody in the dunk contest. So you get those 3 all-stars. I think that's pretty neat. Will Paul George make the all-star game this year? Y for yes, N for no. Shout out Mac McClung, by the way. Dunk contest legend for Philadelphia. Buy or sell? Yabusele will start come playoff time. A lot of people have questions about Yabusele and whether or not he's going to be the starting 4, if it's going to be Caleb Martin. Doesn't make sense to have Caleb Martin at that 4 spot. Yabusele, such a fun name to talk about. Gershon Yabusele, here's what he did in the Olympics for those of you not familiar, and he signed to such an affordable deal if he can work out. 14 points per game for Team France. 3 rebounds. You wonder why the rebounding numbers were that low, but he was efficient, almost 52% from the field, 29% from 3, but he performed very well against Team USA. And the free throw number is good for a big at 81.5%. He was a failed experiment as a former first-round pick by the Boston Celtics, and in his NBA career, only played 74 games, 2 points per, 1.5 rebounds, 44% from the field, 32% from 3. But again, we've talked about this on the show. I think the body is in better shape. I think the game has gotten better, and I frankly like the fit on Philadelphia. And if he can work out, you're talking about a player, $2 million? That could be a steal, Chip, if he's able to impact this playoff-level team.
Yeah, I think regardless of whether he starts or he's coming off the bench throughout the season, I do think he's going to have an impact on this team. Now, do I think when playoff time rolls around, he's going to be at that starting 4? I do not. I'm going to sell this. I think that Caleb Martin will be the Sixers starting 4 come playoff time because we've seen it from Caleb Martin. Unless Yabusele has a absolute tear of a regular season and is playing so well that you cannot take him off the floor, I think because of Caleb Martin's playoff experience and what he's shown to be able to do in those, clutch moments and also his spacing ability we need to see and have Yabusele prove that he can be a good floor spacer in the NBA with the farther three-point line. I think Caleb Martin's just a better fit when the playoffs roll around with Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. But I do think Yabusele will still play and have a big role when the playoffs start. I'm not buying that he's going to be starting for this team once the playoffs do begin.
Yeah, I'm with you. Great minds think alike. You know the saying. I'm selling it. I just think that Caleb Martin is a good starting option. And we talked about this on the show very recently that, the NBA has become so positionless where you don't have to have, the prototypical power forward, right? A lot of NBA lineups have gone smaller, and Caleb Martin allows you to do that. He can guard multiple positions with length. Paul George can guard multiple positions with length. Joel Embiid is your anchor down low. So I think Philadelphia will be fine as far as that power forward spot, and Yabusele coming in off the bench. That's good depth right there. Another reminder, everybody who gives us a follow on Instagram at 76ers Now IG will get a shout out right here on this show.